Do you think I'm somewhere in the middle of the desert? In Dubai? No, I'm not. I'm actually 2 hours away from Toronto. And this time I prepared a complete guide for the weekend getaway. Largest bay mouse barrier dune in the world. Anomalous lakes nobody knows the origin of. Towns with hundreds of years of history. All of this located within this island. And as always, I'm ready to explore it in suit. Here's the map of Prince Edward County. Although this territory was inhabited by indigenous people for thousands of years, the county was founded by John Simcoe back in 1792, and it received its name after Prince Edward Augustus, Duke of Kent, who was in the British North America Army. The location of Prince Edward County is almost in the middle between the two major Canadian cities, Toronto and Montreal. So, if you're traveling from Toronto, for instance, it's only going to take you around 2 hours to get there. This island has numerous attractions, and during my weekend getaway, I'm going to explore these locations: Sandbanks Provincial Park, Little Bluff Conservation Area, the city of Belleville, and Lake on the Mountain. I've been preparing for this trip for quite a long time, and I can't wait to show you all the exciting moments I've encountered during my travel. Sit down comfortably and enjoy the show. I got ready, went outside, and it turned out the weather was not very favorable today. It was rainy and quite cloudy. Even the weather is gloomy today, it's still not gonna stop me from going to the place I've planned to go. After a few hours on the road, I finally reached Prince Edward County. The first on my list was to visit Sandbanks Provincial Park, but because the weather was still rainy and gloomy, I decided to start my journey by visiting a very nice place, this Red Barn. And trust me, this place is an amazing stop if you are in Prince Edward County. I arrived to the shop called the Local Store. This place has a lot of items, from grocery products to some paintings and even jewelry. And everything in this store is made by local artists, local producers, so that's why it's very unique. And I'm gonna go and explore this place. So I'm here with Janice, the owner of this beautiful store.
Along with my husband Gary, I have to give him credit too.
Yeah. And she's going to give us a tour of this beautiful location, and let's just see what the store has.
So this is the local store, Prince Edward County. This is our 6th year. Will you come in?
This looks exciting, huh?
Fine art, jewelry. We have over 30 large collection of cheeses and jams and jellies and hot sauces and syrups and soups and salsas and oils and vinegars and everything that you could possibly imagine, all made locally.
And who is producing everything?
Again, everybody is local.
So everything is local?
Everything. These are very popular in the county, these barn quilts. You see them on buildings. Have you noticed them on buildings when you've been going around? Mm-hmm. It's a folk art movement that started in Ohio, but is now transitioned in Prince Edward County. And they don't really have any meaning as far as family history. They're just a decorative folk art movement, and people like decorating their houses or fences or garages with them. And we have all sorts of different patterns and designs. Here, these are all books written by people who live in Prince Edward County. Every single one is an author who lives here. We also have some music and CDs by local musicians. This is the Loft Gallery and Antiques. When you come up here, you can appreciate instantly the history of the barn. I love barns. I just think that they're something in Ontario that are going to become less and less. If this falls down to the ground, There's no way you can rebuild it. It's gone forever. You see these posts here? Those are trees. That's one piece of wood
trees.
From one to the bottom.
Oh, wow.
And you see the marks in them? That's axes. That's hand axed. And then there's circles. There's dowels in the wood because they couldn't nail them because that's oak. It's as strong as iron. So that's how they put it together. So those beams have been here for, again, about 1880. They were put. What we've done now is had a beautiful canvas to feature the fine art of 34 different Prince Edward County artists. Again, all of this art was produced by someone who lives in Prince Edward County. This came to Prince Edward County before the food industry, before there were wineries, before there were high-end restaurants. The people who came here in the 60s and 70s were the artists because it was very cheap to live and most artists don't make a lot of money.
Exactly.
So that enabled this community to be very strong in the arts. And then it started attracting more of the food. The wineries came and the food industry came.
You really made a great thing out of all this barn.
Thank you.
Just really converted it in a store with so many different items.
Well, I just felt it was my responsibility to do it. Like after owning the property, I thought, you know, I have an ethic and moral responsibility not to make it fall down. Like we have to make it happy again. We have to fill it with people. We have to fill it with life. We have to make sure that it has a purpose again.
Thank you so much for.
Thank you so much.
For this
I hope
interview.
you found it interesting.
Super interesting.
Thank you.
Our trip just beginning by such an insightful.
Oh well, great! I'm glad you enjoyed it.
After a very insightful tour at the local store, I headed to the Sandbanks Provincial Park. It's very close, and in no time I was already entering the park's territory. I highly advise buying a parking permit in advance, as on busy days it's all sold out at the gate, and the price is $21 for the day. Here's a fun fact. Sandbanks Provincial Park is a geological phenomenon. It's home to the world's largest Baymouth barrier dune. During the summer, Sandbanks is a popular destination for a sunny day as it has a lot of beautiful beaches. Besides that, there are multiple hikes and picnic areas. Isn't it a dream for a few-day getaway? I think the videos can tell more than just words. Check it out. When I was planning my trip to Prince Edward County, I contacted Tim McKinney. He's one of the top real estate agents in the Belleville area, and he was super nice and actually allowed me to stay at his place. And now I'm going there and will show you what my experience will look like. Come on. Before actually meeting Tim and checking his amazing house, I took a stroll in the city of Belleville. Historical fact: this town is very old. It was named after the colonial administrator Sir Francis Gore's wife, Lady Annabel Gore, when they visited the area in 1816. In general, the town is quite small, and I only walked on the main street where I found plenty of restaurants and bars. I also noticed the town has numerous churches with a very European architecture. Overall, it creates a feeling of a cozy neighborhood where the life flows very peacefully and smoothly. Now it's time to meet Tim and his amazing team and check out his fascinating house. What's your name again?
Jill.
Nice to meet you, Jill.
Nice to meet you too.
So thanks guys so much for organizing everything, having us. Welcome Tim McKinney. He's a very famous real estate agent in this area and a member of numerous associations. He was able to spare some time and let me interview him. However, prior to showing you the interview part, I wanted to speak about the place where I am. Tim runs a number of businesses, and one of them is a house called The Loft that he rents out on Airbnb for getaways and celebrations of special occasions. Tim was super nice and let me actually stay at this place, and I want to show you all about it. Let's go! The Loft used to be a church and Tim McKinney converted it into a fantastic Airbnb spot. This house fits for any purpose, whether it's a wedding celebration, a business presentation, or just a weekend with friends. There's virtually everything inside: a fireplace, a hot tub, a sauna, a barbecue station, a bar, a corner with musical instruments, a cinema projector, a comfy bedroom, and a spacious living room. I absolutely loved my stay here and recommend everyone visiting this location if you are in the area. I've been lucky to meet Tim and be his guest today. Tim, thank you very much for having me at your beautiful house.
My name's Tim McKinney, and I have been in Belleville for over 50 years. I've been selling real estate for 30 years.
So you started real estate in the 90s. So I was only born in the 90s, right? So
in 1990, interest rates shot up a bit, and we were coming into a recession. But that's changed in the last 5 years too. So we are seeing a lot of appreciation, and part of that is we're getting people from GTA, especially with COVID. People don't have to be maybe downtown Toronto. They can be working remotely.
So this is really impressive. This is really impressive, and I just would like to hear your point of view how to reach the same kind of success. You know?
I work hard. I mean, I do a lot of hours, work weekends. So I've never taken anything for granted. I could not even begin to get this done on my own. It was a team. It's all about support around you.
This house used to be a church. Like people who just passing by probably won't even believe it, right?
Opportunity all over it, and I didn't even know what I was going to do. So I bought it, just thinking I can do something with it.
I wanted to ask, what advantages do you see living in a small town over living in a busy city like Toronto, for example.
So you can be almost anonymous in Toronto, but here, especially in my business, like I know a lot of people.
For the next 5 to 10 years, what do you think the further development of this town, given the fact that many people now switch to the work from home mode?
You know, figuring that they don't need to be in Toronto, fighting traffic day by day. They could be living in a smaller city like Belleville, enjoying, you know, one of the nicest beaches in Canada within 30 minutes, and wineries and breweries. So there's lots to do here.
What do you think is the key to happiness?
I'd say a well-rounded life, a happy partnership with somebody, and yeah, being able to accomplish what you want to. Okay, great. Good to meet you.
After such an eventful day, I needed to recharge, because the next day had even more adventures. The best way to start the day is to play some mini golf. Kershal, what was the final score?
I don't want to talk about it, man. I lost with like, what, 7 points? Yeah.
I don't even know.
No.
That was a good game.
That was a good game, though. Gentleman games.
Yeah.
Hopefully next year we'll trying for US Open.
My plan for the second day was to visit a little Bluff conservation area. It's located almost at the very south of the county, and from here you can see a stunning view of Prince Edward Bay. Once you arrive, there are primarily 2 locations you need to see within this park. First, I started by taking a quick trail on top of the cliff. From here, you are exposed to panoramic views, and at some turns, you can even see the bluffs itself. Second, I climbed down to the beach. Unlike Sandbanks, it's a cobblestone beach. I like how clean the water was, and of course, the view of the bluffs from here was quite impressive. Another location where you can easily spend the entire day. I have arrived at a place called Lake on the Mountain. It's also a huge park, and an interesting fact that this lake is actually 200 meters above the sea level, and nobody knows why. So it's a mysterious fact, but it's very interesting to actually go and see this lake. But before I hit the lake, so I'm planning to eat at the restaurant that's actually overlooking another part of the lake. So beautiful area. Let's explore it. I have ordered flambe maison. This is sort of like a burrata with some prosciutto on top of it and some fresh salad and a nice refreshing drink. That's what we need when the heat is out. Really beautiful, and especially on the background, fantastic. So this is an amazing place to go. Highly recommend. After the stuffing and delicious lunch, all I had to do was to cross the road in order to see a lake on a mountain. This place has a mysterious story behind it. So the level of this lake is actually 2 meters above the rest of the lake you can see downhill. And people still debate like how this lake originated here. So it's a nice story to know. There are a lot of cabins here, people just staying outside, relaxing. It's a very, very chilling vibes around here. So if you're in Prince Edward County, stop here, check it out. You're gonna love it. That was my last stop in this trip. And before I headed back home, I passed by a small town called Picton to grab some ice cream and sum up the adventure I had over the weekend. These 2 days have been very adventurous. I really love my trip. So first of all, I was able to meet just fantastic people, very nice and friendly. They showed me places around. They were nice to me to host me in their places and even tell me a little bit more about their background. Also, I was able to see marvelous natural places, such as beaches, trails, cliffs, lakes. Overall, everything was just wonderful. I really like this location. So I think if you live in Toronto and Montreal and looking for a place to go just for the weekend, Prince Edward County is a perfect opportunity for you. Just get in a car and drive over here for 2 days, and I'm sure you're gonna love it as well. And I think once you get an idea of this place by yourself, you can favorite some of the locations within this county, and maybe for the next time you can come here again and stay a little bit longer, but at one specific location you like the most. So yeah, I think this trip was just amazing. I highly recommend visiting Prince Edward County. And Prince Edward County, thank you for having me here. It was a wonderful, wonderful trip.